I'm gonna be honest, I thought this game was actually like thrown away, like they gave up on it, but I guess not. Crimson Desert is still coming out. If you guys haven't heard, it's from the Pro Abyss, which is the same people that made Black Desert Online. Game's alright, to be honest. Very much a grind fest. Used to be pay to win, supposedly, and now it's a good game. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see what it's all about. This Crimson Desert. Apparently, it's an open world and whatnot. I believe it's supposed to be more story driven, so but we'll see. Oh wait. Did they just do like action time combat? Combat action time. You know what I mean.
The bosses in Crimson Desert are
Oh, okay. So this is like a review. Okay. Uh, volume is good. There's no captions. Okay.
powerful. I mean really powerful. As the formidable Staglord grabbed me by the ankle and hurled me into a wall,
Oh,
the bone-crunching
shit!
impact reminded me of how the stranger
That's actually really cool. Oh,
blows
wrong
catapulted
game.
Kratos
Wrong game.
through tree trunks and mountains in God of War.
I will say though, the
This
combat
intense, deity-like physicality
for Crimson Desert, it doesn't even look like Black Desert really. Like, yes, it's centered on screen, and I guess that's similar, but besides that, it looks so much better, which is a good thing. It's just I'm surprised. I was expecting more like money grubbing kind of things, you know? Oh, I had this. Oh, that was a sneeze. Oh, okay, I'm fine. Continue. I don't remember what I said. I lost my brain cell with that sneeze.
lends Crimson Desert's battles a sense of genuine spectacle. These are the gladiator battles of myths.
Actually, yeah, that is why I like. The thing I liked in Black Desert Online was the 1v1 battles against bosses, and it looks like they focus more on that in Crimson Desert from what I'm looking at so far.
Last month, during an hour-long hands-on session
What
at
the
Gamescom
heck?
2024, I was able to go toe-to-toe with 3 different
Whoa.
bosses, each of which showcased a different side to this fantasy action
Dude,
game's
that's
approach to battle.
sick.
More recently, I was able to watch another hour of gameplay, this time a hands-off demonstration focused on exploration and questing. Together, these demos have given me
Okay, this is definitely Black Desert. You can definitely tell from like the armor and everything. Just the world setting. Yeah, now you can see it.
a good indication of what Crimson Desert is. A game with combat that feels like a mix of God of War and Dragon's Dogma, set in a wider world.
Oh look, it's like
where
the
what you
first
do is
zone in
more
Black
reminiscent
Desert.
of the modern Assassin's Creeds and The Witcher 3. You play as Cliff, a warrior with a gruff Scottish accent and a no-nonsense attitude. After a prologue establishes a bloody conflict between the Greymanes and the marauding Black Bears, Cliff's major goal is made clear. Explore the continent of Pywell in search of his surviving Greymane allies who have been scattered following the battle.
Die, Greymane!
I think that's actually pretty cool. I haven't seen the time action, whatever you call it, during like cutscenes and stuff. I haven't seen that done in just quite a little bit. Like people took it out because they thought it was dumb, but honestly, I thought it was actually pretty neat.
The bulk of the hands-off
As long as it's not
demonstration
overdone.
is set in Hernand, a medieval town populated by a fun range of fantasy races that wouldn't look out of place in any Tolkien-esque fantasy story. Cliff's interactions around its very beautifully rendered streets and roads are very much what you'd expect of a modern open-world action-adventure game. There's a horse you can whistle for, NPCs to be spoken to, and hostile regions
The world
to
is very big though. It looks like it's so open. That's really nice. This is a single player game, right?
trait. That last one is where Crimson Desert has a little fun, as the demo shows Cliff changing into Hernandian banquet attire in order to walk past a castle's guards unnoticed.
Oh, wait.
Seems like a permit. No clue where he got it.
We don't look like the troublemaking type.
This
Right.
looks so much better than I thought it would. Like honestly, I got like a flashback in my head, and I'm just like, this is what Dragon's Dogma should have kind of like felt like, but like it didn't. Totally different author, I know, but like I think I'm gonna like this more than Dragon's Dogma 2.
He can pass then.
Open a gate.
Much like how you can wear disguises in games like Hitman and Kingdom Come Deliverance. I hope there are plenty of opportunities to do this, and various outcomes to your trickery. It would be fun if you could use disguises to open up new conversations, as well as gain entry into forbidden areas.
Is that a goblin?
Inside the castle, Cliff pilfers an Abyss artifact, which is where Crimson Desert gets a little more unusual. The device opens up a pixelated portal in a wall, and walking through it transports Cliff to the Library of Providence. There, an alchemist called Alastin reveals that the library is at the center of all worlds.
Wow, that's totally not familiar to something that's already in like Black Desert. Totally not like the that little other spirit that like transports you to a world and then you can like go to different locations and everything while learning information of the past. It's totally not similar.
And that there are beings who plan to bring everything to nothingness.
What is the reason you brought me here?
There are beings who brought chaos to Providence. The rifts they have created will return everything to nothingness.
Just fall asleep.
While I can't say I'm impressed by Crimson Desert's writing in this demo, this exchange and several others feel cluttered and wrapped up in themselves. But it does point to a much grander, more mythical plot beyond Cliff's hunt for his allies. That ambition of something larger is made abundantly clear when Alastin's ally, White Crow, gives Cliff the glider-like Crow Wings ability, which allows him to leap off the library's floating island and reenact the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's title sequence.
Woo! Actually, you know, this actually doesn't remind me of that. It reminds me more of Skyward Sword when you jump off the statue in the beginning, except you don't use your parachute. You're just like, boop. I'm jumping. Oh, jeez.
It's a little bold to use this motif. Can developer Pearl Abyss really craft something that lives up to the wider meaning of that iconic visual? But even if it falls short, the magnificent view and subsequent glide to Earth is a thrill all the same.
Oh, I
on
see.
the ground in Hernand, a local peacekeeper tasks Cliff with finding and eliminating some local bandits who fight using a red mist. Heading out in search of such villains, Cliff comes across a burning house and throws nearby vases of water to save the clergyman trapped inside.
Oh, hey, it's Vindictus.
It's not clear from the demo if such objectives organically occur around the map. Red Dead
That totally reminds me of a dungeon run in Vindictus. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. That's a good feature. I hope it's more often than just like a one-time thing.
Redemption 2 style. But what is soon clear is that this blaze is the work of those aforementioned bandits. The local church says one of their men, Hubert, fled the scene in an attempt to bait the enemies away, and asks Cliff to find him. The payment is another one of those Abyss artifacts, once again suggesting that the worlds beyond worlds are of vital importance to Crimson Desert's story. I hope this results in a decent amount of weirdness that helps set the largely typical setting apart from other fantasy games.
I just don't really
Hubert
like
is
the
found at
books.
a bandit camp that allows
I feel like that trope has been done so often to the point that like I'm getting annoyed seeing it. You know what I mean? It's when something is overdone and then it just gets sickening. But it's not like... I was gonna say it's not their fault, but it totally is for using it.
demo to show off Cliff's stealth abilities. It's pretty classic stuff and looks very reminiscent
Yo,
of some-
I'm gonna do stealth so much then. I'm gonna break the game using stealth. You already know. That's gonna be like the most overpowered thing.
takedowns in the Assassin's Creed games. Not particularly challenging, but an alternative option to Crimson Desert's more publicized melee brawls. Hopefully when we go hands-on again, stealth will prove a worthwhile addition, rather than a shallow tacked-on extra. With Herbert freed, Cliff is approached by the Goblin Shakatu, a merchant of the Gold Leaves Guild. He explains that the Gold Leaves are currently under the command of the evil Splithorn. In return for killing this toxic leader, Shakatu offers money and his services, things Cliff believes will be helpful in finding the missing Greymanes.
If I recall, Shakatu is actually in Black Desert Online as well, and like he becomes like a wealthy merchant, right? So this is like before the events in Black Desert, I think.
I merely wish us to turn over a new leaf. A return to our former glory.
Arriving at the Goldleaf camp, it quickly becomes clear how all these quests
Or
are
after,
linked.
I don't know.
The Goblin Guards use red mist as part of their battle tactics, and so reveal themselves as the very same miscreants that were causing trouble for the people of Hernand. And so Splithorn's death not only allows Shakatu to take over and help Cliff, but also fulfills the task set by the Peacekeeper back in town. I hope Crimson Desert features plenty more of these overlapping storylines, and forms a wider narrative that feels enjoyably interlaced.
Jesus.
That would certainly make
Woo.
up for the uneven quality of the writing shown in the demo.
That is brutal. That is so brutal.
Splithorn acts as the culminating boss fight of the hands-off demo.
Dude, that was actually sick. Are you kidding me? That cutscene is sick. That was so brutal. I love it. I hope there's more of that.
Brings us to the much more exciting side of Crimson Desert. He's agile and aggressive, wielding a sword that emits blasts of wind in vertical and horizontal patterns.
What a powerful
forcing Cliff
king.
to dodge and block as he attempts to close the distance. But he's a pipsqueak compared to the brutes I face myself.
It would be really, really funny. Like, those people that's just standing around, if they start getting sliced up as well, just from this combat. It would be hilarious.
Hands-on demo at Gamescom. The first of the 3 bosses I clashed with was the Stag Lord. He's a relentless attacker, charging across the battlefield like a bullet train that can suplex you at its final destination. But despite his endless strength and capacity to throw you like a baseball, he's only human. I forced distance between us, quickly firing explosive arrows to knock him out of his attack pattern and open up a window to bury my blade in his back. The Stag Lord proves a real challenge of a fight. Crimson Desert is not even remotely as Souls-like, but it's not afraid to make you work really hard for victory. I spend much of the lengthy fight learning the complexities of its combat system, similar to this
That's actually really good. Like, I like it when it's like this, when the combat's a bit longer and more like a journey than like a quick sequence. I like this kind of fighting.
Against Dogma 2, there's no lock-on, and so I have to be mindful of where I position Cliff and where his sword will land. Rolling forward allows me to instantly follow up with a sweep kick that surprises my foe, and then hitting both the light and heavy attack buttons together unleashes a wide, particle effect spraying strike that cleaves a chunk out of the Stag Lord's health bar. All this is speedy without sacrificing weight.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if you can like go up the staircase and stuff and use like height as an advantage or anything. Or like the objects around as an advantage. It is very curious, huh?
Feels fantastic, but it's also easy to let things run away from you. I soon realize I need to be chowing down on health restoring food with addiction-like frequency.
Hero Wars, a game that totally blows. Anyways.
With the Stag Lord defeated, I take his mighty sword and shield, and the demo skips me
Oh,
ahead.
I get it, because it's... Okay. It's because he's wearing a stag for a helmet. Okay, I get it now. Ha 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 ha.
In the story, throwing me into snow-coated lands. Here, Cliff is looking for children who have seemingly been sacrificed to some kind
Oh
of
no,
haunted
Cliff, don't do
spirit.
that.
Such a spirit turns out to be the White Horn, a sort of antlered, abominable snow deer that acts as the first showcase of just how different each of Crimson Desert's bosses can be. This colossal creature moves like a bucking bronco, and its galloping charges cause the mountains around us to break out in miniature avalanches that leave me
Jeez.
temporarily
Holy
frozen in
crap.
place. Thankfully, after striking it so much that its white fur is stained almost completely red, I'm able to clamber onto its back in the fight's second phase and stab away at its
That's
flesh.
actually really cool. I love the change in detail. That's actually good. That's they didn't have to do that, but they did. So that's actually impressive.
The moment once again had me recalling my battles with towering monsters in Dragon's Dogma 2 earlier this year. Unlike the little split horn back at the Goblin camp, these much larger bosses have 3 health bars, with each one eliminated increasing the intensity of the fight. But where the Stag Lord and White Horn scraps seem to escalate much like many other action game boss battles, my final battle against the Queen Stoneback Crab demonstrated Crimson Desert's ambition to create memorable moments through very different mechanics.
Oh my goodness.
The Queen Stoneback Crab is colossally big. It fills the screen, and smartly, you can't fight it by just hacking away at its shins.
That's
Instead,
actually I look forward to this kind of fight, to be honest. I love fights like this. You know what it reminds me of? this kind of fighting style actually reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus. Like that game was good, and they even made like a remake or something, remaster, wherever, and I thought that was pretty good too. So to see it done in like a game that I used to play all the time, like a game I used to play all the time, I'm just like referencing Black Desert, but to see them like come this far and like putting these kinds of mechanics into it is so like it hits the nostalgia points and it makes me happy. Thank goodness.
The battle is a puzzle set piece that's clearly inspired by Shadow of the Colossus. I clamber onto the crab's stony shell and grab onto the grass and flora that forms its fur, holding on for dear life while pulling myself up towards a trio of rock formations. Using a special punch skill, I
That's so
shatter
gross,
each of
though.
the rocks to expose a weak point that I plunge my blade into. Each open wound causes a geyser of water to blast
Ew.
out, which not only provides a visual spectacle, but also throws me high into the air. From above, I'm able to float down using the Crow Wings ability and plan on how to tackle the next stage. Now I'm tasked with destroying the pottery-like crown at the peak of the crab's mountain-like shell. A task completed by swinging Spider-Man style from a web and colliding with the pottery at full speed. It's all delightfully bonkers.
Nice.
My hour-long session wasn't quite long enough to try all 4 of the bosses the demo had to offer, but a video presentation provided a quick insight into the only one I missed.
That's actually pretty impressive. That like they're showcasing 4 bosses. That's quite a lot. Like you could get away with just showcasing 1 or 2, to be honest, but showcasing that many, that's impressive.
Devil, a weird little guy who creates copies of himself that can only be defeated by destroying totems that are built during the battle. Along with the 3 I fought, all 4 bosses make a promise that Crimson Desert features an array of creative, unique
Yo, this one looks like
battles.
Sekiro. Like this combat right here looks like Sekiro.
If they're all like this, then Pearl Abyss could really have something special on its hands. I'm similarly impressed by the combat system's fundamentals. Yes, it's all quite Fantasy 101. Bows, swords, shields, parries, but it's all delightfully aggressive and properly impactful. There's a seemingly deep combo system too, and it's because of that I wish the demo had had a section that was a little more relaxed for me to sample. The heat of a relentless boss battle isn't quite the space to learn and perfect button sequences, but I've got a good feeling you can pull off some cool stuff based on the combos that I did learn. It's a big green light for Crimson Desert's combat then. As for its adventuring chops, things are looking a little more conventional. Pearl Abyss certainly seems to be making a solid enough transition from the MMORPG design of Black Desert Online into single-player territory.
Okay,
But I
so
don't
it is
think
single
anything
player.
shown in the
Cool.
hands-off demo particularly breaks new ground. Much of it is very familiar if you've played the likes of Assassin's Creed or The Witcher 3. Nonetheless, it does look largely well put together. While I do hope that the Abyss Artifact storyline goes suitably off the
Well,
wall,
the thing is, what he's saying is not entirely wrong. It has like a lot of stuff that other games have done, but like it's slightly reimagined and like higher graphics, a bit different on the core mechanics of these gameplays, and like it's all combined into a game. So it's like I don't see a problem with that, to be honest. Like heck, if I had to if I had to compare it to something, it's like Wuthering Waves when Wuthering Waves took a lot of gacha game mechanics from other popular games and just made it better. I feel like that's what Crimson Desert is trying to be. So I look forward to that.
I'd like to see the more typical fantasy storylines find suitable hooks to ensure regular gameplay feels more varied and creative than what we've seen so far. With a combat system that shifts from classic sword and board action to slingshotting Spider-Man style round a walking mountain, the questing and exploration side of Crimson Desert ideally also needs to aspire to that kind of diversity.
I mean, like the fact that like, so even for the turtle, right? They're like Shadow of the Colossus, but then right here they're like Spider-Man. What they don't understand is it's like they combined it together. So it just makes it better. Like, in my opinion, that makes it so much better. Like, imagine if in Shadow of the Colossus there was like let's say Shadow of the Colossus, quote unquote, the sequel, where you can actually sling and like move around a bit faster instead of like doing the slow climb up the Colossus. Like, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. I mean, sure, there's like some intimidating features of like having to climb and watching your stamina bar and stuff, but I feel like you can still like do stuff like that and just still make it like an intimidating time. Like maybe debris you have to like swing through. Just I'm just saying there's a lot of potential there.
But even if it doesn't, this latest slice of gameplay certainly suggests that the bridges between epic boss battles will be solid, if not the most memorable aspect of the experience. For more from Crimson Desert, check out the entire...
I doubt it. I feel like that one cutscene is gonna be living free in my head, where the king was like stabbed multiple times, because that was that was something, all right. I actually enjoyed that. I look forward to this. I'll definitely play this when I can. Not when it first comes out though. I'll probably wait a little bit, but I do look forward to this game. It's looking grand. Well, what do you guys think of it? Let me know. Have you guys also played like any of the games I mentioned, like Black Desert Online, PSO2? No, I didn't mention PSO2. I might be confusing myself with something else. But yeah, like they made pretty much big improvements, I'd have to say. And also, let me know. This is like in the past, right? This is technically the past before Black Desert, story-wise, right? But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later with hopefully more Crimson Desert stuff. All right, bye.